So let me just check this, see if we're live, because I don't know. All right. Sounds like we are live, you guys. All right. Yep. Hear myself. How freaky is that? So Steven here from Off the Shelf Movie Night. I did do this video earlier, and I'm super annoyed because it appears that the audio did not come through for some reason. I don't know why, but I just wanted to put on some headphones and give it a check there. If you don't follow the channel already, please do. If you like physical media and home theater and talking about movies in general, but mostly physical media, as you can see behind me here, then please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you'll see all the cool stuff I've got coming up. And if you would, hit the like button. It really helps get us out there in the search algorithm. And let me know what the sound quality is like on this. I just spot checked it there on my phone, and it sounds okay. But if it doesn't, please let me know. This live thing is all new to me. I'm really doing it because I'm lazy, and I wanted to do a video for you guys today. But after Cinco de Mayo yesterday, had a few cocktails, made my own homemade margarita last night. Really delicious, but I'm just tired today. But I wanted to share some pickups with you. I have some new pickups that came in, and also want to talk about the AMC versus Universal situation that's making all the news right now. So AMC has come out and said that they will not show Universal films in the theater if Universal intends to do dual release situation, where they would be releasing day and date new films to theater and to VOD or streaming. I've seen some other, I wanted to comment because I've seen some other shows misrepresent the situation. Other shows that I really love misrepresent the situation in that they feel that AMC is in particularly pissed off about Trolls World Tour. Now, I'm sure they're not happy about that particular film, no doubt. But what they're really unhappy about are subsequent comments that Universal has made, that since Trolls World Tour did so well on streaming, that they are going to be looking at moving forward as we get back into normal situations. They're going to be looking at simultaneous releases. Well, obviously that is not something that the movie theater situation wants to see. And I've seen some people, comment that it was all about Trolls World Tour, and Trolls World Tour is only sort of the tip of the iceberg, the beginning of the conversation. It's really about the larger simultaneous, day and date releases on VOD and in theaters. That is really the situation. Trolls World Tour, in the scheme of things, doesn't really matter. All those stories have been coming out today that actors in their contracts had theatrical bonuses written in the contracts. And since the movie came out streaming, the Universal has hoarded up all that money, and the actors that were promised paychecks did not get them, but they did their work. So this is another problem with going direct to streaming. Contracts will have to be done in a completely different way. But I think it's important that we talk about why theaters would be very upset about this, because I've seen so many people on shows that I very much respect on a normal basis just say that, why is it a big deal? Release them both ways, and people who would see it in a theater will still go to the theater and see it. Okay. To some degree that's true, but mostly, honestly, it's not that true. It's not that true. Some people who would go to the theater to see a film, if it's the only way that it was available, well, that's when they would go there. But if it's available in multiple ways, then they're going to choose going home to see it. And the problem is, the way the contracts currently work, theater chains get the bulk of their box office money opening weekend. And each subsequent week moving forward, the chunk of money that they get paid from box office gets smaller and smaller. So on that opening weekend, if a movie comes out and it's available in both places, then their potential opportunity for making money is curbed quite a bit, because the movie could be watched at home. So, Why is this so hard to believe? It costs millions of dollars for theater chains to maintain the screens and pay employees and pay mortgages and electric bills and rentals and whatever. It's crazy. We're in a society where people want their art for free. And it's crazy to me. The theater chains need to make this money. Now, are they mismanaged? For sure. Because we have some situations where I'll buy a $15 ticket and the projector bulb is dull, or it's out of focus, or the aspect ratio isn't set correctly. So yeah, there's real problems in the theaters. I'm not completely defending them either, but to expect that they wouldn't be upset about a day and date release is crazy to me and unfair. It makes no sense whatsoever to expect them to just be fine with it. So what this argument is really about, and what Universal is doing with their comments, is they feel like they've got, some weight to swing now because Trolls did pretty good. Their other movies didn't do that well, though. No one's talking about The Hunt or Invisible Man or their other films that they put out. Only Trolls. But anyway, what they're really interested in is they're very publicly trying to bully theaters into a shorter window situation. If you don't know what windowing is, and I'm sure most of you do, windowing involves the amount of time that a film hits theaters and is exclusive to those theaters. Studios have been wanting that window to be smaller and smaller. And this is Universal trying to force the theaters to make the window smaller. And AMC's response is obviously the back and forth that is beginning in that conversation. I have no doubt that Jurassic World and Fast and the Furious, all these things are going to show in AMC theaters, and Regal is right there with them. Regal has also come out and said that they won't show anything that's day and date releases either. This is all about trying to negotiate that window into fewer weeks. I mean, when the windowing situation started, you might be a year from the end of a theatrical run on a film before, or from the release date before it hits broadcast TV or even home video, when home video became a thing. Well, now it's going down to a matter of weeks. So that is what this whole battle is about. And if you think it's more than that, then you're wrong. It's 100% Universal fighting to get their window smaller so that they can get out there, get their films out, do their 3 or 4 weeks of theatrical money, and then have the movie available in both spots. On demand and still in the theater, because that's what they want. But a theater has no reason, especially 4 or 5 weeks in, to even want to keep that movie in the theater if it's on VOD also, because they're already making less money. This is crazy. This is just the studios trying to hoard up on all the money. And I'm not saying that theaters are not doing the same. I mean, obviously they are, and that's part of the negotiating process. So what is your opinion on this? I mean, do you see why it's an argument worth having for the theaters? Do you understand why they wouldn't want a day and date release in order to continue being profitable? And also, I've seen some people talk in some of the other shows that I watch about how studios don't really need theaters. That's also an untrue statement. Because you think about a film that's $1 billion film like Avengers Endgame. Let's say we didn't have theaters for a second, because the studios don't need the theaters, right? That's what everyone's saying. Okay, so then what happens? What would happen is Friday nights would become movie party nights. I have a pretty great home theater situation here, so all of my friends would come over here. I can seat easily 10 people. So we have 10 people over here, and we'll rent whatever movie for the $20 that they're charging. And all 10 of us are going to watch it for $20. Versus what would normally happen is all 10 of us would go that opening weekend to see it because we're all excited to see it and pay $15 a piece. Now, sure, the theater is going to get a piece of that money, but it still equates to a whole lot more money. And if you think Amazon is not taking a piece of the VOD when it goes out through them, you are crazy. And if it turns into a situation where Warner Brothers has their own service where we go and rent their theatrical releases, and Paramount has theirs, and Disney has their, it's going to become very complicated. So they do need the theaters in order to make those big box office dollars. So it is 100% a negotiating process that is happening. It's happening very publicly, and both, industries, the studio side and the theater chain side, are trying to force this fight. And I think what's going to happen is they'll come to an agreement, and the window will probably get shorter, and that'll be fine. That'll be fine. As long as we get, at least 3 weeks of theater time. Because if things go strictly to a day and date thing, then the budgets of films will have to come down in order for them to be profitable. And when they come down, the CGI in most movies already looks like trash. Can you imagine? What's going to happen is everything's going to look like a Netflix film. And I'm sorry, Netflix films look like crap. Fight me on that. They look like crap. They look like TV. Even Martin Scorsese's film looked like TV. It didn't look like Goodfellas or Gangs of New York. It looked like a TV thing. And it's because the budgets are tighter. And that's what will happen to every film that we see. And you may not care, but I don't want that. I would hate that. I like the cinema look, to see something that's big and beautiful, and a lot of love is put into not just the story first, but the acting. We have really top tier, amazing actors and beautiful, actual locations. And when there's CGI, good CGI, stuff like that, that would go away. It would have to. It would only make sense. I enjoy some streaming product for sure. I love Stranger Things, or I loved it. Season 1, I love. But yeah, there's a huge difference. And what would happen is the stuff would have to get cheaper and crappier. And that would be a real shame. Anyway, what is your feeling about this? Do you see both sides of the fight, or are you another one of the people that's just on the studio side and not really appreciating, both angles? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments. I would love to hear them. And the whole big thing for me is also, people complain about how much they spend at the theater. I do the Regal Unlimited. I pay $20 a month and I see as much as I want. So it doesn't cost me that much. Anyway, I feel like I've kind of been on a soapbox, and that's fine. I think it's necessary because no one is coming out on the other side that I've seen. It's all been, on the studio side. And I just don't understand that. As a person who loves cinema, loves film, and loves the theatrical experience, I got to look at both sides of it, and I got to come down on the, kind of in the middle, mostly on the theatrical side. We got to pay those guys, or there's no reason for them to do what they do. So tell me what you think in the comments. So I've got some things to show you here, some pickups. One thing I've kind of been doing since being quarantined at home is I've started this sort of subgenre of film collecting. I've just started it, and I want to bring it to you guys because I want your thoughts. I want your suggestions. So I did a documentary last year called Family of Fear. It's a documentary about the people who run a haunted house attraction in Killen, Alabama. The kind you buy a ticket and go through and get scared, that kind of thing. I love the film. I love the people. It's affected me more than most other projects that I've done. So I kind of got interested in the idea of how haunted house attractions are represented within narrative storytelling. So I've started compiling a list of horror films that are set in and around a haunted attraction. So I've got a list. The first thing I'm looking for, well, it's not the first thing. I have one thing here already. I just got it. It popped up in Macari for a good price, and I grabbed it. But I'm looking for Tobe Hooper's Funhouse. That is a great movie. I've always loved that one. I think there's a good edition out there of it, so I'm going to be watching for that, trying to find it. There's a movie, I think it's Dark Sky Films or maybe IFC, called Dark Ride. I don't know if the movie is actually that good, but I want to get it because it is set, in a dark ride, in a haunted attraction. Hellfest, I will be picking that one up. I know it's out in 4K, and that'll be the preferred medium to get it. It has Tony Todd in it. It's not the best movie, but as someone who's been behind the scenes of a haunted house for a lot of work, I enjoyed seeing certain props and things and knowing where they came from and all that. So from that perspective, I love the film. So the one that I picked up is a Shout Factory release, because I am still trying to do the best I can as far as curating my library with good versions of things. So this one's put out by Shout Factory. It's called The Funhouse Massacre. This is a cold buy. I've never seen it. So if you've seen it, please let me know in the comments if it's any good. There's the spine. There's the back. It does have artwork. It has reversible artwork also. So, I mean, Shout Factory does a really good job most of the time with their releases. Their releases are usually kind of, to me, expensive for the work they put in. They charge Arrow Video money, but they don't do quite the level of work that Arrow Video does. So anyway, that's my first purchase. So if you know of a film that's set in or around or has, at the core of it, a haunted attraction, leave it in the comments below. I know House of Wax. House of Wax is one that I'm going to add to my collection. I'm trying to decide if I should just pick one version of it, though, or if I should buy them all. I kind of have a soft spot for the one in the early 2000s that Paris Hilton is in, because I find her so annoying and she gets, killed right away. So I probably will get that one. I'm probably going to end up getting at least the two, most notable versions of that film. But anyway, hit me in the comments. Let me know of something maybe you've heard of that I should be adding to that. Also, I picked up this collection here. I was so happy to get this factory sealed. So I just opened it today. The first time I tried to do this video, actually, I opened it for you guys. The video, just for some reason, the sound didn't come through. I had these in my collection before this studio was built, and they were stolen along with, the other stuff that we've previously talked about. So this is a great way for me to re-add those. The one thing I am disappointed about a little bit is when I do a twofer, like two films in one box, I like it when it saves me some space. But this is essentially the two Blu-ray releases slapped inside of a case. So I'll show you. Hills Have Eyes. These are obviously the remakes. The original Hills Have Eyes is the best of this story, but these two remakes are both better than the second Wes Craven film. They just are. There's no dog in either of these having a flashback. Okay, so there's the unrated first original film. I got to get rid of these things. And there is the unrated second film. Looking forward to getting back into these films. I haven't watched them in a long time, so it'll be interesting to see how they hold up. Anyway, this is all I really had today. I just wanted to talk about the AMC, Regal, Universal thing, get your thoughts on it, have some conversation with people about it, and show you these cool pickups. Hit me up on OTS Movie Night over on Instagram. I'll be putting pictures of things that I buy that maybe don't get featured here on the show, and tell me what you're watching while you're still on the safer at home thing. If your state hasn't opened yet, what have you been binging? Outside of this stuff, I've been binging 24 because I need things right now. If I'm going to watch episodic TV, it has to have a cliffhanger ending and a single story that pulls me through. Otherwise, I lose interest. That's just what's happening with me right now. So, what are you watching? Let me know in the comments. And until we meet again, pull something cool off the shelf, share with your friends and family, and remind them why physical media is the best way to watch movies and TV. I'll see you next time.